Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. And this will be part two of my week 14 preview. And I'm going to crack on because I'm going to try and squeeze all the remaining games into this one pod. Starting with the first of several pivotal games for both teams as they seek to chase postseason spots. The Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is an AFC mirror of the Cowboys Lion game on Thursday night, as that was in the NFC. The Texans are riding the wave, the Chiefs trying to find some dry land to get a foothold on. Again, despite their differing recent trajectories, a loss for either would be very damaging in the wildcard race, but in this case, even more so for the Chiefs. Although with the Jags and Colts playing each other this week, a loss for the Texans will significantly reduce their divisional title hopes, whereas the wild card is the only route available to the Chiefs. Contrary to last season, where the Chiefs were not as good as their regular season record suggested, this year they are better than their 6-6 record. They're a top 10 team in the NFL, as they rank fourth for pass offense, 13th for run offense, ninth for pass defense, and 12th for run defense. And they will need to be at their best against on offense against this Texans D that ranks third against the pass and sixth against the run. Their pass rushing unit also has 34 sacks and 70 quarterback hits to its name this season. Danielle Hunter with 11 sacks and 18 hits, and Will Anderson with 10.5 sacks and 18 hits are a deadly duo in that area. They are not as potent as on offense, though, where they rank 19th for the pass and 24th for the run. How will the Chiefs' O-line that has allowed Patrick Mahomes to be sacked 27 times this season stands up to Hunter, Anderson and co. may be the biggest factor in deciding who wins this game. But whether the Texans' offense can get touchdowns rather than field goals is another key to this game. This season, they have attempted no fewer than 30 field goals against just 16 extra points. So, red zone efficiency has been a massive weakness for them, as they have just 7 rushing touchdowns this season. They have shared their 16 passing touchdowns around, though, and have big targets with Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins, and Xavier Hutchinson all being 6'3" or taller and having 11 of those touchdowns between them. And with the Chiefs' only DB that's over 6 feet tall being Jalen Watson at 6'2", this height advantage may allow the Texans to get passing touchdowns against the Chiefs. With both teams having been tough on opposing running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, it is possible touchdowns will be at a premium in this game. So, as I said before, particularly relevant to Houston, the kickers could be extra important here too. Harrison Butker has missed just 3 field goals this season, but is perfect within 40 yards. Ka'imi Fairbairn for the Texans has also missed 3, but the difference with him is he's perfect within 50. He's only missed those beyond 50, so there's a slight edge there. With the Texans having the height advantage wide receiver VDB and Fairbairn edging the kicking battle, there's a theoretical edge for the Texans. But this is the Chiefs at Arrowhead with Patrick Mahomes and with their backs against the wall, so they're going to be a tough nut to crack for sure. Will Anderson's battling a chest injury, so that's going to be crucial. Woody Marks likewise with an ankle, but for the Chiefs, on the offensive line, left tackle Josh Simmons is out, and looks like guard Trey Smith and right tackle Jawan Taylor are going to miss this game too. So that Chiefs O line that badly needs to stand up has a distinctly fragile look. So all the indicators point to a Texans win here, unless Patrick Mahomes produces one of his miracles. So I'm going to take the Texans to win at Arrowhead in a huge win for them and a huge loss for the Chiefs. 26-20 the Texans is how I see it. Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore, crucial AFC North battle with a high probability that only one team from that division makes the postseason. The first of 2 meetings between these teams that are tied for top spot. They meet again in week 18, takes on huge significance. A win for either would not only put them a game clear at the top of the division, but also put them ahead for tiebreak purposes. And for the Steelers that have beaten the Bengals twice already and are therefore less vulnerable to being overtaken by Cincy, that could prove pivotal come week 18. Up until last week, when they were put in bad positions by their offense turning the ball over, the Ravens had conceded 19 points or less in 6 consecutive games. Even last week, they conceded field goals, 6 of them, mind you, rather than touchdowns, 2, despite being given little chance to succeed. So keeping the Steelers under 20 points looks a distinct possibility here. Lamar Jackson just had a shocker last week and has not been near his best since returning from injury, but surely he won't have another bad game here. He had 2 fumbles though last week and now has 6 in 9 games this season, so he certainly needs to sort out his ball protection as an issue. The Steelers are not a good team, ranking in the bottom half of the league for offense and defense, but being red zone efficient in the passing game out on offense and also on defense against the run. Pittsburgh has given up the second most yardage, though, to opposing wide receivers this season. So Jackson and the Ravens should be able to get down the field via the passing game, but can they get in the end zone? Quarterbacks and running backs have struggled to do so on the ground against the Steelers, and wide receivers have struggled too. But they have given up 7 touchdowns, which is the joint third highest in the league, to tight ends this season. So maybe Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely may be the keys to the game for the Ravens in terms of getting touchdowns. Running backs with 3 and tight ends with 8 have combined for 11 of the Steelers' 21 receiving touchdowns this season. But the Ravens have conceded just 3 touchdowns to opposing tight ends and even fewer, 2, to running backs this season. So it might be that the Steelers have to lean on DK Metcalf to get them in the end zone here. But overall, I'm going to take the Texans to limit the Steelers' notable red zone efficiency and to do enough on offense to get the win by 24 points to 16. And now on to another crucial AFC divisional matchup, the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jags. The Jags have been taking advantage of the Colts treading water to join them on 8-4, a game ahead of the charging Texans. And with these two teams meeting again in week 17, I should say, the outcomes of the games between these two could well decide who wins the AFC South. However, if they split the 2 games, the Texans will look to get past both of them, but having split the games with the Jags, would probably prefer a Colts win here, having beaten them last week and getting another crack at them in week 18. This is certainly a hugely relevant week for who's going to win the AFC South. The Colts are good in all areas, apart from ranking 27th for yardage conceded in the passing game, but their ball hawking D does rank 4th for interceptions made. The Jags have been strong running the ball, but have been tremendous against the run, where they rank 2nd in the league. But their pass offense and defense rank 22nd and 25th respectively, and notably Trevor Lawrence has thrown 11 picks, which ranks him 27th in the league. For the Colts, then, this may be a rare game where they rely on their pass offense rather than Jonathan Taylor on the ground to get them the points they need to win this game. But for the Jags, they may be able to move the ball through the air and on the ground, but Lawrence simply has to avoid those picks if they are to get the win here. And if the pass game is going to be definitive here, the Colts have more touchdowns from wide receivers and from tight ends than the Jags this season. So look for Michael Pittman and Tyler Warren to be the difference makers here with the assistance of a key pick or 2 from their D as the Colts get a hugely significant win in Jacksonville by 27 points to 20. Right, another critical divisional matchup, this time in the NFC and the NFC North, the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. After the Lions' Thursday night football win, that means the loser of this game would have been dealt a double blow to their divisional hopes and also seen their wildcard hopes diminished. So a massive game for both then. A Packers win would put them top of the division, a Bears win would keep them there. The Bears are much better on offense, especially via the run, than on defense. They rank 16th for pass offense and 3rd on the ground, whereas they rank 25th against the pass and 21st against the run, but are 1st in the league for making picks. Critical, though, here could be that Rome Odunze is out for this one, which puts more onus on their running game to deliver. Jordan Love has been 2nd in the league for avoiding picks, which the Bears have relied on to get them wins this year, with just 3 in his debit column this season. The Packers are another team with no weak areas, ranking 11th for pass offense, 12th for rush offense, 8th for both pass and run defense. One interesting point about these teams is the Packers are 1-2-1 in games divided by 5 points or less, so they're 50-50 basically. But the Bears are 6-1 in such games this season. So if this is a close game, the Bears know how to get across the line in such games. But in truth, the Packers just look a better team than the Bears, and if they can keep the Bears in check on the ground, that could be key to them winning here. and they've been eighth toughest on opposing running backs this season. So if the Bears do need to lean on that running game, that could be tough for them. Chicago's allowed 16 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, which is joint third highest in the league. So this could be a route offensively for the Packers. And running backs have scored 10 touchdowns this season against the Bears, 7 on the ground and 3 via the pass. So look for the Packers' array of wide receivers, which also has Jaden Reed likely back for this game, aided by the ground game, to get Green Bay the points they need to win this one. One of my favourite scores comes up again here. Green Bay to win by 27-20. On to what looks like a critical AFC wildcard stroke divisional game now. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. Now, these are two of this decade's AFC powerhouses, and they're both fighting just to make the postseason in 2025. The Bills, like I say, via a wild card in all likelihood. The Bengals' most likely path or only path is via winning the AFC North. So the Bengals' perfect week would be for them to win here and for Baltimore to beat the Steelers, given that they've lost the head-to-head tiebreak to the Steelers earlier this season. The Bills are currently seventh in the AFC standings and adrift of the Patriots in the division, but a loss here would leave them vulnerable to the likes of the Texans and Chiefs in the AFC wildcard race. The Bengals rank a lowly 30th for run offense and even lower 31st for pass defense, just 28th for run defense. So as has been the case for a long time now, they pretty much lean exclusively on Joe Burrow and the passing game to get them wins. The Bills rank 11th for pass offense, but Josh Allen has thrown 10 interceptions this season. They do have the best run offense in the league and are first against the pass, but are 31st against the run. So on the face of it, this Bills D matches up well against the Bengals offense, and the matchup is as good as it really can be for them. Whilst on offense, they should be able to dominate on the ground in particular. So as long as Josh Allen avoids the turnovers Lamar Jackson gave the Bengals last week, they run out easy winners here. 7 of the 10 picks the Bengals have got this season have come from safeties and inside linebackers. So my advice to Josh Allen would be very careful throwing in the middle of the field. James Cook, though, could be set for a mammoth game here. And whichever tight end, Dalton Kincaid or Dawson Knox, gets the gig for the Bills this week, could enjoy themselves against a Bengals team that has conceded 13 touchdowns to tight ends this season. So assuming Allen does not literally throw this game away, the Bills win this one comfortably for me by 31 points to 23. On to the Philadelphia Eagles at Los Angeles Chargers. This is the last game of the week that could be pivotal one for both teams. Now the Eagles are even closer to winning the NFC East ahead of this game after the Cowboys lost on Thursday night. An Eagles win here would pretty much wrap the division up for them. The Chargers are at the front of a tightly packed AFC wildcard race and cannot afford to stumble too often, as this is the start of a tough run-in for them. So a win here would keep them at the front of the race. A loss would likely see them fall into the middle of the pack, chasing those wildcard spots, and with probably the toughest run-in of anybody in that pack ahead of them. The Eagles rank 17th for pass offense, 18th for run offense, 24th for run defense, and the bend but break pass defense ranks 19th for yardage, but is conceded but second for touchdowns given up. In the 4 games the Eagles have lost this season, they've conceded 8 rushing touchdowns. So getting multiple touchdowns on the ground is generally the way to get past what looks like a pretty average Eagles team according to the rankings. That's bad news, though, for the Chargers, as they rank 27th in the league for rushing touchdowns. Elsewhere, they rank 19th for run defense, 9th for pass offense, and 2nd for pass defense. Those run rankings indicating the Eagles' best route to scores in this could come on the ground, and the tush push in particular could be seen plenty here. Of course, the other big thing ahead of this game is where a Monday night game is whether Justin Herbert will play following surgery on his non-throwing hand. Surely, as long as he can hold a snap, he will play. But it could be possible we see some of Trey Lance, even in the spot relief for Herbert. And if he does, his running ability could actually be really useful against the Eagles. And another key bit of injury news here looks like the likely return of Omarion Hampton at running back for the Chargers. Excuse me. As the Chargers and Eagles have been tough on opposing wide receivers and tight ends, I think this game could well come down to which team gets more rushing touchdowns. So Watch out for those injury bulletins on Herbert and Hampton. But if both play, I still think the Eagles and the Tush Push are slight favourites to win this game. So we'll take them to edge home 23-20. Right, on to some games now where it's basically the road team seeking to get to the postseason, trying to get wins over teams that are out of contention. So the first one of those is the Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. The Seahawks are now tied for the best record in both their division and conference and are 2 games clear in the wildcard race ahead of this week's games. So to keep pushing for a divisional title, high seeding in the NFC, and to avoid falling back into the reach of the 49ers in the NFC West and the Lions in the wildcard race, have to win this game. The Seahawks are another team like the Packers and KC that are good all-round teams with no obvious weaknesses, ranking 10th for pass offense, 12th for run offense, 10th for pass defense, and 2nd for run defense, which is their clear area of strength. So the Falcons' duo of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier that give the Falcons the 8th-ranked run offense faces one of its toughest tests here. Sorry, lubricate the throat. So given that means Kirk Cousins and the 24th ranked pass offense of the Falcons will need to really step up here. The Falcons rank 11th for pass defense and 18th for run defense, so they match up pretty evenly against the Seahawks offense, although the Seattle may have an edge on the ground. So overall, the Seattle defense matches up well against the Falcons offense, and they have a clear edge offensively, which should be enough to get them the win they need here. So I'm taking them to win by 27-19. Los Angeles Rams go on the road to the Arizona Cardinals. So all the introductory comments for the Seahawks game get a rinse and repeat here for the Rams. If both the Seahawks and the Rams lost this week, the 49ers would be sitting at home having a party on their bye week. I still see the Rams as the best all-round team in the league, though. They have the number 3 pass offense, number 7 run defense, 9th pass defense, and the lowest ranking is their 18th ranked run offense. That number 3 pass offense should get the better of the Cardinals' 17th ranked pass defense. The 7th best run defense should do likewise against the 22nd ranked run defense. And it's fairly even between the 9th ranked pass defense and Cardinals' 10th ranked pass offense. And they're both the Rams run offense and Cardinals run defense both rank 18th, so it's pretty much a tie. And the Cardinals, though, do have an extensive injury list ahead of this game, which is going to weaken them in a number of areas, and that can't be a good sign for them against the Rams. So from that edge for the Rams, plus the injury report for the pass offense and defense, I'm taking the Rams to run out comfortable winners here by 30 points to 27. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at New Orleans Saints. The Bucs' once comfortable lead in the NFC South is now down to half a game. With the Panthers on bye this week, is a chance for the Bucs to pull a full game ahead, and is one they simply must take before 2 late season meetings with the Panthers. The Bucs have got their O-line close to being fully healthy. Have got Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving back on offense in recent weeks. Mike Evans is getting closer, although he won't play this week. So the Bucs are getting back to the team they were in getting to 5-1 early in the season, and anywhere near that should be good enough against the Saints team that is ranked in the bottom half of the league across the board. Having said that, I think the Saints defense is okay. It's just put under too much pressure by an offense that looks set to struggle again here as the Bucs likely run out comfortable winners. Not huge winners though. I've got it as 24-17. Right, Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. The Dolphins' hopes of making the postseason are slim and mean they have to win out and hope for help from other results. So this is step 4 on an improbable stairway to postseason heaven, having won their last 3. The Jets are actually above average for run offense and pass defense, but their 30th ranked pass offense and 25th ranked run defense are the reason they're 3-9. So the Dolphins should look to their 20th ranked run offense and 18th ranked pass defense to get them a win here. But as they rank 20th for run defense and just 23rd for pass offense, those matchups actually look good for the Jets. Indeed, rankings wise, the Jets have the edge overall. And if we look back at the first meeting between these two teams in week 4, Dolphins may have won the game by 27-21, but the Jets had over 100 yards more offensive yardage and they had suffered 2 costly fumbles. particularly the one by Braden Allen on the Miami 6-yard line. If they can avoid those errors here and with home field advantage, I'm actually going to take the Jets to win this one and end any hope the Dolphins have of making the postseason. I'm taking the Jets by 23-20. Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. No real downside for the Broncos if they lost this one in terms of making the postseason, but it would certainly hurt them in terms of getting the AFC top seed. Now, I say it every week about the Raiders O line. What the opposition does against that O line, that glaring weakness, is going to decide every game. Basically, the Raiders can't pass protect. Geno Smith has got sacked 46 times. My throat's giving up, so I'm going for a drink. And it also does little help to help Ashton Gionte on the ground, which is why they rank 37th for offense. And why Geno Smith is, or part of the reason why Geno Smith's thrown 14 picks this season, although he's gone for wall too. Excuse me. Denver's D, as we know, is one of the best in the league, ranking 5th against the pass and 7th against the run, and also has a huge number of sacks from a varied and excellent pass rushing unit. All of which sounds like terrible news for the Raiders O-line and their offense in general, as they look to struggle immensely in this game. So I think the rushing TDs and the Broncos wide receivers for yardage and a touchdown or two look to be the most likely path to victory for Denver, as their D demolishes the Raiders O-line all game. So I'm taking the Broncos to hammer the Raiders by 27 points to 20. Now, the last two games I'm not even going to bother to preview. I'm just going to give a score prediction because they're irrelevant games. Tennessee Titans at Cleveland Browns. Browns win it by 23-16, despite they've got issues on their O-line. Myles Garrett will get at least 2 more sacks here as he heads for the record. Enough said. Washington Commanders at Minnesota Vikings. I'm literally going to say nothing about this week's Who Cares Bowl, which is what this game is, apart from that the Minnesota Vikings will exploit the Washington Commanders' pass defense to win this one by 31-20. So that's how I see all of the remainder of Week 14's games. I'm getting close to 70% accurate for the season now, so let's hope I have a good Sunday and Monday. Anyway, enjoy the games, and I'll see you soon.